Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Thanks for joining me. If you're new to the channel and you could subscribe, that would be a massive help. I know some of you have already subscribed, so thank you, thank you, thank you. All support is always, always appreciated. Now, Dereck Chisora versus Joseph Parker, the rematch. There was a press conference. You may have seen it. Press conference today, I think it was. And I've got to be honest with you, when this rematch was announced, I was a bit sort of, well, you know, whatever. It was a close fight, the first one. I thought Parker won it. I don't hold with the idea that Chisora was robbed. I thought Chisora got off to a very good start, and Parker he was flawed in the opening seconds, wasn't he, of the first round, but I thought he kind of got the measure of Chisora, and probably by the midway point, certainly by the last third of the fight, was landing the sharper punches, the cleaner punches, handling Chisora's pressure a lot better. Chisora obviously slowed down a bit, as he always does, because of the frenetic work rate. And I thought Joseph edged it. But it was a close fight. And if you said to me you thought Chisora edged it, I wouldn't argue too loudly with you. But do we need a rematch? Well, I think the answer is yes and no. In one sense, the fight wasn't particularly exciting, the first fight. It was okay. It wasn't a bad fight. But it wasn't the sort of fight where you immediately thought, well, I want to see that again. On the other hand, because it was close, you could argue, well, yeah, there should be a rematch. Chisora deserves it. And I think the bottom line is that if one fighter makes a statement, if Parker knocks Chisora out, or if Chisora totally dominates Parker and wins a decision, or something along those lines, then you can say, okay, it was worth it, because one fighter has made a statement. But if it's another sort of 6 out of 10 fight entertainment-wise, and it's close again, and I mean, even if Chisora won a close decision, do you really want to see a third fight between these two? I don't know. I'm not that fussed. But I did a video about Parker previously saying how much he frustrates me because he's such a talented fighter. All the tools. He's not the biggest of heavyweights, but he's got a lot of skills and a lot of tools in his toolbox. And he flatters to deceive. So this is a chance for him to make a statement. If he knocks out Chisora, dominates him and knocks him out, he's made a statement. If he wins every round and wins a decision, he's made a statement. And finally, he'll be looking like a world-class contender, and not like someone who's sort of almost so laid back he's almost horizontal, or someone who perhaps doesn't look like he's that fussed about being a boxer. Because in the past, I have got that impression from him. He's a frustrating guy. Seems like a nice fella, but maybe too nice. Maybe too nice. At the press conference, Chisora was his cheeky self, offering money to Eddie to bribe the referee, insisting he won the first fight, telling Parker that he thought, because Parker had said afterwards, we'll have a rematch, Chisora took that, or says he took that, as Parker saying, hey, you won the first fight. You know, he's trying to hang Parker with his own quotes. But yeah, Chisora feels that he's been robbed several times in his career. I would agree with that. The Hellenius fight was an absolute diabolical disgrace. Clearly beat Hellenius in Helsinki. Was it Helsinki? And you can make a case for him winning the first Dillian White fight. I thought Dillian edged it, but a point or two either way, you can't argue. Yeah, you know, Derek's got a point. There are a few decisions that he's lost that he could have taken. So he's got the bit between his teeth. And when you consider that Derek's got 11 losses on his record, it's really quite amazing that he keeps coming back, that he hangs tough. He is a prize fighter. He's not interested in world title shots. He wants the money. Okay, fair enough. He's made a ton of it, because God knows how many pay-per-views he's been on. This is a pay-per-view coming up. But for a guy with 11 losses, how many millions has he made? And it shows you what can be done if you're prepared to fight anyone at any time. Derek's seen as a gatekeeper. Is that an insult? I don't think he was ever going to be the greatest heavyweight in the world. But what's wrong with being a quote-unquote gatekeeper? What's wrong with having a reputation as a you know, have gun will travel type, or have gloves will travel, I should say. What's wrong with being that guy who says, I'll fight anyone, anytime, any place, just pay me. I'm about money, pay me. He's honest, in other words. And I wish that Parker had a little bit more of that attitude that Dereck has, because I think he'd be a better fighter, a bit more of that temperament. That's not to say that Parker lacks any kind of, you know, courage or determination or fortitude. No, he has all of those things in him. You look at the Dillian Whyte fight. He was on the floor from a headbutt, then he was legitimately knocked down in a later round. By the last round, he had Whyte out of there. If that was an old 15-rounder, Parker would almost certainly have stopped Whyte. So he can fight when he's forced to, when he wants to. And I'd like to see a bit more of that from Parker. So this fight is destined for later in the year. We're almost in 2022. It's amazing how time flies. But are you going to watch it? It's on pay-per-view. You're going to pay for it? I'm not. I don't buy pay-per-views on principle. I'm stream team all the way and unashamed of it. What do you think about the rematch itself? Do you think it's necessary? If not, then who would you like to have seen Parker move on to fight? What do you think of Andy Lee in Parker's corner? They've had a bit more time to prepare for this fight rather than the first fight. I think Andy Lee shows a lot of promise as a trainer. He's hung out in the Fury camp, done a lot of work there. Tyson Fury described Andy Lee as being a teacher rather than a coach, which was an interesting quote. In other words, he understands, you know, the mechanics of the body and of boxing. He understands strategy. I think Andy Lee's very, very promising. And Derek's Dereck, and he's going to bring it. You always know when you watch Dereck that he's going to bring it. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel again. If you could do that, I'd really, really appreciate it. Hit the like button. And yeah, enjoy your night, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.